Mr. Sharp, non-Ararat faculty, Mr. Lucy, members of the board, and guests, good afternoon. My name is Zoe McNally, president of the class of 2019. It is my privilege to welcome you to this graduation ceremony. My classmates and I are so excited to take this next step in our lives. We have grown in countless ways and have worked so hard to make it this far. Thank you for joining us. At this time, all who are able, please rise for the national anthem to be performed by Alex Humphrey.
Good afternoon. My name is Bob Lucy, and I am the interim superintendent of schools. It is my distinct honor to welcome each member of the class of 2019 to our graduation ceremony. I also want to recognize and thank the families, friends, administrators, faculty, staff, and school board members who are sharing in our celebration today. While we are here to recognize the achievements and accomplishments of the class of 2019, we also recognize the collective contributions of the MSAD 75 community in helping make this day possible for each of our graduates. During my time as the interim superintendent of schools, I have been so impressed with MSAD 75's unwavering commitment to provide rich and dynamic learning experiences for all students. Visiting each of the schools and seeing the students enthusiastically engaged in their classroom activities has been one of the highlights of my time in MSAD 75. To the class of 2019, I commend your commitment to learning and the perseverance you have demonstrated to achieve your educational goals. As you move forward, I encourage you to pursue your passion with positivity and purpose and make the necessary sacrifices that will enable you to achieve your goals in life. Dream big, follow your heart, believe in yourself. Always remember that the formula for success in any endeavor includes a strong work ethic, great pride in your performance, dogged determination, and a daily commitment to excellence. Success does not come easily, and it does not come immediately. In the words of national author and leadership expert John Maxwell, success is due to our stretching to the challenges of life. Failure comes when we shrink from them. I am proud of your efforts to accept challenges, apply problem-solving skills, overcome obstacles, and demonstrate a capacity for personal growth. This diploma is not the end. Rather, it marks the beginning, and it is the gateway to your future hopes and dreams. The 35th President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, offers this thought on the power of education. Let us think of education as the means of developing our greatest abilities, because in each of us, there is a private hope and dream, which fulfilled can be translated into benefit for everyone and greater strength for our nation. As you leave here today, please take the opportunity to express gratitude to those people who have made a difference in your life, and seek opportunities daily to make a difference in the lives of others. Keep persevering, keep learning, keep growing, keep self-reflecting, and keep giving. Congratulations to the class of 2019, and best wishes for future success.
Hi. I would first like to take a moment to recognize the people that have helped guide us here. Would all past and present district staff please stand at this time? We are so grateful for all of these teachers, administrators, and staff for guiding us academically and emotionally throughout our school careers. If good teachers are worth their weight in gold, then our district is among the wealthiest. Now would all parents and family members of seniors please stand. We thank you for your support, love, and guidance throughout our whole lives. You have shaped us into the people we are today. While we have all grown over time into responsible, smart, and independent adults, we would not have been able to do it without these wonderful people. I just want to say how grateful I am to have the privilege of making this speech about Miss Canlin. Her encouragement and kindness have led me to be the person I am today. I now sit among many other students who feel the same. A statement I hear frequently is, "I love Miss Canlin," and indeed we do. The time and effort she puts not only into being a teacher, but also into being a helpful and impactful adult in our lives is something we will be forever grateful for. Daily, she teaches students not only the facts of history, but the facts of life. You can find seniors in and around her classroom throughout all times of the day, whether it be to sit by her desk and talk about the tough test you just took, to celebrate getting into your dream college, or just to share a laugh. She is always there. Miss Canlin wasn't supposed to end up with our class. When we came up to the high school, she was already advising that year's senior class, but of course, took on ours as well. This gave her a very busy schedule of both stressed seniors and new excited freshmen. But just as she does with everything, she handled it with great enthusiasm and confidence, and thank goodness she did. I haven't quite figured out what I'll do without her next year. Her constant support, positive attitude, and smile keep me going through even the toughest of days. She has made the conscious effort to know every student in our class, and as you'll see in a while, even how to pronounce all of their names. She does not do this for the recognition, but for the pure curiosity and kindness of her character. I can say confidently that every student will miss her in at least one way as we travel to our new adventures. A day without Miss Canlin is always missing something. As we move on from this chapter, however, we will think of her when seeing an orange cat, doing yoga, or maybe even both at the same time. She invites us frequently to come back and visit, for there will always be a place for us in the chair next to her desk. The laughs, conversations, and even tears at times that we have shared with her are something we will always be grateful for. Miss Canlin is truly one of a kind. She speaks to us both as students and as people, which is valuable in an immeasurable way. The respect and gratitude we feel for her is immense, and we could not be luckier. We are better students and better people because of her. Thank you, Ms. Canlin, for everything you have done. All the late nights, meetings, early mornings, and stressful times have led us here to stand proudly in our caps and gowns, ready for this next step. We'll miss you so much next year, but we cannot wait to come back and visit. We love you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm Ms. Callan, I'm the Senior Class Advisor. It's been my great pleasure to serve this class for 4 years. I was supposed to retire from this position 3 years ago when I was the Senior Class Advisor for 2016, but the freshmen didn't have a class advisor, and I stepped up so that they would know what to do for homecoming, and the rest is history. I decided about halfway through the year I went to see Mrs. Burnett and I said, I just can't give them up. So here we are, 4 years later, still together. I was told that I could have 2 minutes, so I will try my very hardest. What I want to say to the senior class is that I adore you, and she's crying right now, I know you are, I adore her. Your parents have made wonderful people. I enjoy seeing you every moment because frankly you never leave me alone for even 2 seconds all the time. You're always in my room. I get messages from you all the time. When we went to Costa Rica with 14 of you, I would say, I'm gonna go read by the pool, and I would bring my book, and then I would turn around and there would be 14 of you immediately next to me. And so what I love about this group of people is that they love each other, they care about each other, they're good friends to one another, and you should all be proud of the people that you are, and your family should all be really proud of you. I especially want to recognize the 6 officers sitting behind me. I don't know if people know the truly countless hours that they spend putting together class events, literally bringing drinks to a luncheon 2 days ago. They work to the moment. And I want to say thank you to all of these 6 class officers on the stage, Zoe, Maddie, Max, Nathan, Hunter, and Hayden for their service for these years to the class. I also want to recognize a couple of amazing parents among you. Lynn Soroy, where are you? Actually don't know where you are. Hi Lynn. She's organized our project graduation trip. One of the reasons I knew I could stay on as class advisor is because it would give me 7 years with Lynn Soroy. Thanks Lynn. Thank you to Sandy Horrocks, who's also been a huge help this year organizing project graduation, and all of the parents who've supported it. I promised you I'm almost finished. I want to say that I'll miss you so much. You are wonderful people. I've already told you that. You already know that. I want to say some life advice because I can, because they can't take the microphone away yet. Wear your seatbelt, floss your teeth more often, express gratitude. Also know that it's going to take effort to be friends with these people around you from here on forward, and that you're going to need to make an effort when you're apart from each other, so make an effort. I hope you will have the happiest, fullest lives full of adventure, and I truly miss you already. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Donna Burnett, principal at Mount Ararat High School. I am so pleased to be part of the celebration honoring this accomplished group of young adults. Parents, grandparents, family, friends, and of course, school personnel. And Ms. Canlin. It means a lot that you are all here today. And special thanks to everyone in the audience who played an instrumental part in supporting one or more of our students on their journey to this day. My special thanks go to Al Grapham Al retired last year, and he had orchestrated graduation proceedings for many years. I will forever be grateful that he said yes when I asked him to take the lead again this year. Given the new venue, it has truly been a gift to have Al working with us to plan for this ceremony, so thank you, Al. I also want to publicly thank Kelly Wasson, MTA's head secretary. Kelly has invested many hours planning with Bowdoin College, Brunswick High School, and the MSAD 75 personnel so that this arena looks like it does today. Kelly has ensured that our colors are proudly displayed and that our graduates have home in a new venue. And to our grounds and facilities crew, many thanks for all that you do every day, but especially the work you have done this weekend. So thank you, Kelly, and thank you for that. And before I say a few words to our graduates, I would like to take a moment to remember a young woman who was a member of the class of 2019. Nicole Kennett left Maine and moved to North Carolina 2 years ago. On April 23rd, just 5 weeks before she was supposed to graduate from North Lincoln High School in North Carolina, Nikki's life came to an end way too soon. So, if you could please just join me in a moment of silence in honor of Nikki. Thank you. And now, to our graduates, the class of 2019. It's nice to see that number up on the scoreboard. It is my distinct honor to be here on graduation day with you. As I have reflected on your senior year, the words of Greek philosopher Heraclitus come to mind. The only constant in life is change. Change has been a constant during your time at MTA. Just think about how much you have changed since your first day in high school. You grew in physical stature. You were mentored, and now you are mentors. You learned to adapt and share your voices so that you would be heard. You matured to be people with a strong sense of right and wrong, and now make your decisions based on your conscience. You led the way as our campus changed, adjusting to new roadways, parking schemes, and athletic venues. I know there have been a lot of changes on our campus this year that have impacted you, but you are Eagles. And in the words of Joyce Meyer, Eagles do not fear adversity. We need to be like eagles and have the fearless spirit of a conqueror. You, individually and collectively, adapted and controlled the things you could control in the midst of changes that could have rocked your senior year. I want to personally thank you for the sacrifices you have made that will benefit future generations of MTA students. You are Eagles, and your fearless spirit has made this a memorable year. During your high school years, you have learned many lessons in the classroom, and receiving your diploma speaks to your academic success. You have also learned life lessons through your experiences, which are important for you to carry with you as you move forward. Some of those lessons, curiosity and courage to ask questions, are essential to learning. Doing your best counts more than ability. Set goals. You can do anything you set your mind to. Be flexible. Situations often change. Kindness matters. Words can be powerful. Once they are out, you cannot take them back. Failure is good. It proves that you had the courage to try. And most of all, it is the people in our lives that matter. Some life lessons are learned through experiences, while others can be learned from the people around you. I encourage you to listen, observe, try new things, and take note of lessons learned as you go off to new venues. Best wishes to you, and congratulations to the class of 2019. There are 4 special awards given each year at graduation. The students receiving these awards were nominated by and selected by the Mount Ararat High School faculty and staff. Decisions were based on personal achievements as well as contributions made to the MTA community. The first award is the Summit Award. The Summit Award is presented to a senior who demonstrates remarkable improvement in academics and demeanor during his or her tenure at Mount Ararat High School. When this individual entered high school, I'm going to pause because I'm going to have the student come up while I talk about them. Usually I do it the other way. Could Daniel Pratt please come forward? So I'll start over. When this individual entered high school, teachers noted academic concerns and social behaviors that presented as a challenge. In 4 short years, we have had the pleasure to watch Dan blossom into a friendly, reliable, hardworking, positive young man. Kind and compassionate, curious and engaged, with a passion and purpose for learning. Those are words that we are currently using today. The transformation has been remarkable, and it is truly a pleasure to honor Dan with the Summit Award. The next award is the Ventura Award. The Ventura Award is presented to a senior who has demonstrated leadership skills and has effectively influenced his or her classmates in positive ways. And at this time, I'm going to ask Max Pelkey. This year, the award is going to an individual who is described as a proven leader in every way. In classrooms, on athletic fields, and in the community, this individual leads by example, is unassuming, and he is always doing so in a responsible manner. One teacher, of several teachers nominating Max, commented, "This individual is the MVP of his class. He leads by examples and is the embodiment of reliability, responsibility, and kindness." It is my pleasure to recognize Max Pelkey as our Ventura Award recipient. And next, our Senior Service Award. The Senior Service Award is presented to a senior who has made outstanding contributions to the academic and civic life of school. Could I please have Zoe McNally come forward? The individual receiving this award consistently presents as kind, courteous, and generous. Teachers state that this individual is one who cares most about the class, worked tirelessly for the class, and attempted for years to unify, bring positive messages forward, and accentuate the good. Zoe's spirit of service is unparalleled. She is not about building a resume. She is all about building a better school. this year's Senior Service Award recipient, Zoe McNally. And the fourth and final award, the Eagle Award. The Eagle Award is presented to a senior who is an optimist and has consistently approached school with a constructive, positive attitude. The recipient has demonstrated scholarship, maturity, integrity, and a commitment to all aspects of school life. If I could please have Hunter Lohr. Nominations included some of the following comments. Hunter embodies all the attributes associated with this award: scholarship, maturity, integrity, and a commitment to all aspects of school life. Hunter's enthusiasm and zest for learning and life in general are infectious. His school spirit abundant and sincere. This respectful and friendly individual is a great role model for peers and younger students, and it is a pleasure to present this year's Eagle Award to Hunter Lohr. And now I would like to introduce a special person to the audience, somebody who has joined us for the year. Carolina Rizzaro, would you please come forward? Each year, Mount Ararat hosts exchange students. And unfortunately, the other students, Miguel, Zana, and Narenga, are not able to join us today to be recognized. These students bring a lot to our community, and as members typically of the senior class, we do like to recognize them at graduation and note the many things that they contribute to our community. They come here to learn about our culture. In return, we have the pleasure of having students amongst us who can share a lot about their culture as well. So it is my pleasure to introduce Carolina to you. Unfortunately, sometimes their school years end earlier than ours, so the other students are not able to join us today. But this is a very rich program that certainly enriches our life, and we're very proud to have you here with us. And at this time, I would like to invite the MTA Senior Chorale to perform this year's musical selection. Lead singers within the performance today of You Will Be Found are Grace Liebman and Riley Robertson.
Like you could.
The first speaker today is Max Pelkey. Max is the son of Amy and Jonathan Pelkey of Topsom, Maine. I want to thank Bree Canlon, senior class advisor and social studies teacher, for sharing some thoughts about Max. Ms. Canlon shared, Max is a proven leader in every way. He takes academics seriously and is a force on the athletic fields. He is all around good, reliable, and kind. Max has served as a class officer for 4 years and has proven to be responsible and trustworthy as the student senate president. On countless occasions, Max has helped classmates be better versions of themselves, whether it be helping them understand that something they have said isn't appropriate or simply leading by example. Max has had a large part during his years at MTA, and we are all better because he's around. Please welcome Max Pelkey.
Thank you, Mrs. Burnett, and thank you, Mrs. Kelly. They say that time flies, and boy were they right. It's hard to believe that 4 years ago, Uptown Funk made its grand debut, and there were still 6 Star Wars movies. A part of me wants to go back so that Han Solo and Luke Skywalker would still be alive. However, the other part of me, a much stronger part of me, looks back at what a great 4 years this has been. When I found out that I got to give a graduation speech, I did a little research about past graduation speeches and created a highlight reel for you guys. So here we go. This is the beginning, not the end. Don't waste your opportunity. You're the best and the brightest. Believe in yourself. Choose the road less traveled. Follow your dreams. Never give up. Spread your wings. Be true to yourself. Think outside the box. It's the journey, not the destination. And of course, you are the future. If you all remember everything that I just said, then nothing will ever go wrong in your lives. But all jokes aside, what I really wanted to say is that I'm very grateful for this community. We have all met many amazing people and made many friends which we will remember for the rest of our lives. Now it's time for all of us to go in our different directions and tackle our next challenges. Some of us know exactly where we're going. Some of us have a good idea. And some of us, as Bob Marley astutely pointed out to me, have no clue. But the one thing that we all have in common is that this place is our home. On behalf of the Mount Ararat class of 2019, I would like to extend my thanks to all of the people who have helped and supported us over the years. It has been a pleasure to be a part of this community. Now, as my good friend Mitchell Serace often says, it's time to G. Thank you.
The next speaker today is Griffin Downs. Griffin, if you could start making your journey. Griffin is the son of Susan and Richard Downs of Bodenham, Maine. I want to thank Emily Vale, one of Griffin's English teachers, for sharing her thoughts about Griffin. Ms. Vale shared that she was fortunate enough to have Griffin in class for both freshman as well as senior year. So she's had twice the pleasure of observing his passion for using language to communicate, on the page and on the stage. She noted that he crafts essays with the same fervent commitment that he brings to playing a role in the theater. That is, he totally embraces the process, which is really the most exciting part. It has truly been a pleasure to watch this young man grow and mature in his thinking during his time at MTA. A gentleman and a scholar, please welcome Griffin Downs.
Thank you, Mrs. Burnett, and thank you to Ms. Vale for teaching me an endless amount of knowledge and often being at the forefront of my success during these 4 years. color is my gown? Red, right? While we all may agree that my gown is red, it may not be that simple. Color is visual. We cannot feel, smell, hear, or taste color. So how can we be sure that the red you see here is the same as the red I see, or the person next to you sees? The red I see may be the blue you see. And I can't describe to you what my red looks like. I could say red is a hot color, but if you've grown up seeing what I call blue as red, then you would have learned that what I call blue is a hot color. We can agree on what objects are what colors, but we cannot explicitly agree on what those colors look like. We all experience life differently. Whether we go to the same places or do the same things, each person will experience and interpret them differently. I may go to a summer camp and learn that ants terrify me, while you may go there and learn you're scared of lightning. I may see the color red, and you may see the color that I call blue. All of us hold these different experiences and interpretations of life close to ourselves, for they are personal to us as individuals. I cannot speak to explain the color that you call red, just like how I cannot speak to explain the personal experiences and knowledge acquired by each graduate of the class of 2019. I stand here talking in front of you today because of a simple ranking system. This system does not necessarily evaluate my intelligence, how hardworking I am, or how qualified I am to talk in front of you. It only measures the work I've put into one aspect of my life, school. Any other graduating senior of 2019 could have been up here giving a speech. Each one would have something to say. Whether they realized the career they want to pursue, or found a sport they look forward to playing, or have realized something more personal and philosophical about themselves. Each graduating student has gained something from this school. Me being one of the people who have the opportunity to speak for our class today doesn't do justice to the wisdom gained by each graduate. Many have put in much more time and effort into parts of their lives outside of school than I have inside of school. And from that time, they have all gained priceless knowledge that will help push them into the future. I cannot stand here and explain how each student sees the color red. So today, I ask parents, grandparents, siblings, and friends to talk to your graduates and listen to what they have learned from their years at Mount Ararat. Each will have something personal to them to talk about. Each will have gained knowledge as valuable as I have. Each will have their own interpretation of the color red. Here's my take. 5 years ago, I chose to audition for Wind in the Willows, the theater production our middle school was putting on at the time. With no prior theater experience or knowledge, I obtained one of the 4 lead roles. Since then, I've been in total of 10 different productions of both straight shows and musicals. I've had multiple leads and even been in a 2-person show. When I walked into the Orion to audition for Wind in the Willows, I did so out of my own free will. Yes, my sister was involved in theater and recommended I try it, but I'm sure my initial decision to audition was a surprise to her. With so many difficult decisions constantly pelting us as growing adults, it's hard to wrap our heads around each one separately. Whether we're trying to decide what to do after high school, where to go to college, what major to pursue, or where to get a job, it can be much easier to listen to those around us and follow what they believe is best for us. It is much more difficult to dig ourselves into our own decisions, evaluate each possibility, and make a choice on our own. It can be helpful to take advice from others on situations that seem to present an immovable roadblock in our minds. But be wary of taking that advice as fact. Ultimately, our decisions should come down to ourselves as individuals. Even if we make the wrong choice, at least we can live with it, knowing we can only blame ourselves, and we can do our best to work towards fixing it. This process of experimentation, failure, and success allows one to learn about themselves as an individual, a priceless chunk of knowledge. We seniors are at the end of a journey. This was a journey that helped both teach us analytical knowledge and build our independence. Now, we will branch off from one another. Each of us will take a different path from Mount Ararat, each with unique opportunities and challenges. We have the opportunity to apply ourselves to the world in the way we see fit. So, I ask my class of 2019, take the route of life that you choose. You finally have the chance to build your own path, so use the opportunity to your advantage. Don't allow others to decide your future for you, for they are not the ones who will live it. Don't allow others to explain the color red for you, for they are not the ones who will see it. Thank you.
And now I'd like to welcome our third and final speaker today, Tyler Bernier. Tyler is the son of Kimberly and Robert Bernier of Bowdoin, Maine. Sarah Calverthwaite, Tyler's visual arts teacher, shared that Tyler has been one of the most exemplary students she has ever had the honor to work with in her 20 years of teaching. She noted that Tyler is one of those rare students that comes along so infrequently, yet makes such a lasting impression as to spur a teacher on who yearns for such motivated and creative pupils. He has a very honed sense of responsibility and knows what it means to champion a cause. He can simultaneously throw his enthusiasm into all his endeavors, win a grueling cross-country race, create an intricate and beautiful piece of art, contribute great things to society, be a friend, appreciate beauty in all things, and he does it all with humility, open heart, with a huge smile on his face. Tyler is a quintessential Renaissance man. He is a quiet, simply distinguished in all ways. Please welcome Tyler Bernier.
Thank you, Ms. Brunette, and also Ms. Copperthwaite. I'm not sure if I'd ever win a cross-country race, but that's really nice for you to think that. Good afternoon, proud family members, esteemed faculty, fellow graduates, and other people who have wandered in here taking advantage of the absence of tickets this year. I am beyond honored and also terrified to be speaking in front of you today. I mean, I am one of the worst public speakers you will ever meet. My voice will shake, I'm going to cry, for multiple reasons, but mostly because of this. My very own dear friend Zoe even said to me, "I wish I was speaking today instead of you because you are so bad." Those weren't quite the words she used. You know, she was a little nicer than that, but I got the gist. And she's absolutely right. Really, Zoe. I wish you were speaking today instead of me as well, and I am so sorry that you are only fourth in the class. You must be ashamed of yourself. All right, back to talking about me, my favorite thing to do. When I sat down to write this speech this past Monday, the day before it was due to be turned into Miss Brunette for revisions in true Tyler and also apparently valedictorian fashion, I realized I had no idea what I wanted to say. There were so many things that I could talk about, so many things near and dear to my heart that I felt should be mentioned. I could talk about the environment and sustainability, for I'm a self-defined crazy environmentalist, or I could talk about how proud I am to be a part of this very unique and small class, comprised of 4 towns, 5 elementary schools, and approximately 3 cinder block walls in the entirety of the second floor of the high school. My apologies for the cliche joke, but with this being the second to last graduating class of the very high school that Mr. Edmondson himself graduated from, I won't say how many years ago, I thought it deserved a spot in my speech. Anyway, I then got to thinking about this past year and the changes I've gone through. I realized I could talk about coming out and being gay and what it's like to be part of this community in today's society. But I knew that the past half generation of liberals before me have beaten that horse quite nearly to death. Don't get me wrong, I am more than thankful for their hard work and particularly loud voices on the issue, for it has made my coming out a piece of cake. Not that it was much of a surprise. I mean, when you think about the stereotype that all of the best, most attractive, smartest, most athletic, and all-around amazing guys are gay, I think we all saw it coming. Jokes aside, my coming out really wasn't that big of a deal. I essentially said, "Hey everyone, I like guys." And they said, "Okay, cool." And I was like, all right, I guess that's that. So there really isn't that much to talk about, except for the fact that for the 3 years of high school leading up to my big revelation, I didn't really feel like me. I felt like I was holding something back, not only from the people around me, but also from myself. I felt like I wasn't being who I truly was. I wasn't being the person who I was meant to be, and it was difficult, to say the least. I hid behind a stoic, resting the B-word face. I cut down on the flamboyancy, forcing myself to say things as straightly as I could, and I dated Sarah. I mean, no offense, Sarah. We had a great time, but you're just not my type. So yeah, it felt like I was a ghost of my true self, a black and white image of a person yearning to live their life in color. Rainbow, to be precise. I just wasn't expressing myself the way I wanted to be. But coming out changed all of that. I became more open. I smiled more. I was happier. I was present. I was myself in every sense of the word. I allowed myself to let out some of that flamboyancy, to a point that I've been holding back for so long. And the changes I noticed weren't just in myself, but also in the people around me. I noticed that they also smiled more when in my presence. They were happier to see me, and all around, my exhale of pent-up gayness allowed them to exhale as well. To quote One Republic, this is life in color. But that's only my experience. Each and every one of us in this class has come into our own in various unique ways, and we've grown into rather extraordinary young men and women. I'm not even exaggerating. I mean, I hear it from our teachers, like every day, that we are a very special class. We won't be easily forgotten. So kudos to us for being so amazing. I am beyond proud to call you all my classmates and my friends. And I just want to say thank you to everyone in my life who has made this year simultaneously the hardest, easiest, and most fun year of my life. Thank you to my family for embracing the new me with the widest, most welcoming arms I could have ever asked for. Thank you to my friends who have been by my side since 6th grade and never left, despite the fact that I have dated 2 of them. Thank you to the teachers of Mount Ararat and all of MSAD 75, both the ones I had and those I didn't, for raising and educating a remarkable group of young men and women. Thank you to my math teachers, Miss Walker, Miss Palmer, and Miss Riker, and my art teachers, Mr. Fields, Miss Copperthwaite, and Miss Del Rossi, for inspiring me to pursue a career in architecture, a field that combines the 2 seemingly unrelated subjects. I would not be where I am today without you, and neither would any of my fellow graduates. And above all, thank you to my parents for supporting me through all of my endeavors, encouraging every last one of my ideas, and for saying, so what, to the fact that their one and only son is attracted to guys. It has been an honor to take this journey with each and every one of you. I hope you all find success and happiness in life, and I hope you all stay true to yourselves, for that is the single most important thing you can do in this life. Thank you.
The way after your graduate has received their diploma to allow room for others to get a clear photo. But worry not, there will be professional photography available for purchase from Geskus Photography. They are online at geskusprint.com. You can check the Mount Ararat High School webpage later for a link. All audience members are asked, please be respectful of other students' time on stage. Do not stand in the aisles or block the view of other audience members. Thank you. Mrs. Burnett, I present to you these candidates from the class of 2019. They have successfully completed all requirements for graduation from Mount Ararat High School. Zoe A. McNally. Madeline Elizabeth Horrocks. Max Dunnigan Spelkey. Lainey J. Phillips. Maximo Fernando Varela. Alyssa P. Folger. Campbell M. Tankersley. Faith Antoinette Williams. Riley Leanne Robertson. Bailey Linwood Patno. Haley Aspen Elizabeth Pullen. Hannah Nicole Clemens. Caitlin Rochelle Chambers. Elijah Aaron Slocum. Alexander Scott Humphrey. Ainsley Marie Bryant. Abigail F. Hagan. Grace Ann Liedman. Bethany Jeanette Doobie. Jessica Ashlyn Cloutier. Alyssa Marie Daw. Abigail Frances Richardson. Emma Caroline Pottle. Sarah Nicole York. Zoe Elizabeth Stevenson. Tyler Robert Bernier. Cassandra Lynn Kane. Griffin Richard Downs. Jackson Brooks Redlin. Kenzie Rebecca Doble. Jordan McNamara. Abigail Avery Perry. Kylie Brooke Munsey. Patrick Joseph Sullivan. Daniel Howard Seavey. Mason R. Rowe. Mason Nicholas Holtman. Abigail M. Stewart. Michelle Marie Snape. Ethan A. Rack. Travis S. Netto. William Yolandro San Pedro. Nathan Koffroff. Lauren Page Lemieux. Brianna M. Plechek. Abby M. Soroy. Cindy Jo Conkling. Emily Nadine Smith. Tristan Caswell Ryday. Macy Jane Gallietta. Colony Heimers Horn. Erin Nicole Schott. Tamara Jane Kluke. Brielle Renee Domer. Mason J. Smith. Caitlin Marie Purrington. Thomas Robert Norco. Alexandria Lynn Crocker. Araya Faith Johnston. Isaac Myers. Aaron Newton. Chloe Ann Van Meter Brown. Mariah Rose Bernier. Kelsey L. Dwelly. Isabella Marie Hardman. Abigail A. Holt. Ryan P. Argraves. Emily Ann Merriman. Sage Renee Vermette. Adam M. O'Farrell. Connor Christopher Murphy. Kyle Anthony Saccone. Austin Andrew Damon. Noah Matthew Jasper. Zachary D. Tivitot. Devin P. Tobin. John Edward Sylvester IV. Erica Paige Butler. Gabrielle Sylvia Mason. Connor Gerard. Isaac James Ducat. Zachary Murdoch. Jonathan Bonaventure Nelson. Autumn S. Holman. Lindsay J. Hanna. Emma Temple. Emma M. Skelton. Amber B. Card. Mackenzie L. Almy. Sydney Morgan Gillum. Adrielle Althea. Parker J. Swanson. Drew Matthew Kiernan. Corey Z. Williams. Grant Alexander. Brady Mitchell. Ben Freeman. Alexander Francis Gaidola. David James Goslin. Matthew Patrick Davison. Scott Allen Hildebrandt II. Thomas Anders Davison. Riley B. Gilson. Langdon E. Galvin. Jax Donald Robert Hollenbach. Cade A. Sharon. Will Kavanaugh. Carissa Ann Warren. Amanda Catherine O'Neill. Matthew S. Mosier. Victoria G. Locicero Alfano. Jared D. W. Balzer. Alexander Matthew Bryant. Carmela Rose Billy Edwards. Fiona Grace McInnes. Sabrina E. McCourt. Autumn J. Myers. Lucas Glenn Russo. Cameron R. Letourneau. Eli Beggart. Jacob L. Brillant. Anthony Braley. Alexander Moulton. Philip D. Thomas, Jr. Noah Joseph Tebow. Marvin Roberts. Dakota Blue Lopez. Ethan Bruce Baker. Tristan Birch. Brewster James Chard. Cody J. Noyes. Jack B. Matthew. Delilah Belanger. Sydney I. Plant. Jade Hurley. Emily Irene Holler. Abigail E. Welch. Emily Dana Robbins. Grace K. Sifferman. Matthew Scott Kearney. Justin Karcher. Daniel W. Pratt. Jet C. Gold. Samuel J. Dufour. Lakin Elsroth. Caitlin Marie Munsey. Bradley E. Burns Fish. Hayden C. Libby. Nathan Richard Taylor. Hunter Jacob Lord. The hanging flower baskets on display, which were purchased by family and friends to honor graduates, are labeled alphabetically, and they can be picked up at the conclusion of today's ceremony. Thank you for beautifying our graduation today. Class of 2019, you may move your tassels signifying you are now graduates of Mount Ararat High School. Until the entire class has finished marching out. It gives me incredible pleasure to sing this next sentence. Ladies and gentlemen, we present the Mount Ararat High School class of 2019.